This is African American History is American History. Born a free woman in Salem, Massachusetts on June 6, 1826, Sarah Parker Remond was one of 11 children of John and Nancy Remond. Her mother, Nancy, was born in Newton, Massachusetts. She was the daughter of Cornelius Lennox, a Revolutionary War veteran who had fought in the Continental Army. Sarah's father, John Remond, was a free person of color who immigrated to Massachusetts as a 10-year-old child in 1798 from the Dutch colony of Curaçao. John and Nancy married in October of 1807 in the African Baptist Church in Boston. They moved to Salem and built successful catering, provisioning, and hairdressing businesses, becoming well-established business people and activists.
Although I had few leisure hours, I read more or less daily. Our home was constantly supplied with the best daily and weekly newspapers, and I could obtain from public libraries and often from the private libraries of friends some of the best English and American literature. These were resources of which even prejudice could not deprive me. A book once obtained, I could peruse it with pleasure and profit. When some abolitionist who had buried all prejudice against color which education and habit had taught, when such a one was the guest of my parents, I treasured up in the storehouse of memory the information derived from conversations in the society of some of the most gifted of the sons and daughters of America. These opportunities were not frequent, but they were valuable. Reading was the staple and never-failing resource.
Sarah Parker Remond made her first public speech against the institution of slavery when she was only 16 years old, and delivered abolitionist speeches throughout the northeastern United States. One of her brothers, Charles Lennox Remond, became well known as an orator, and they occasionally toured together for their abolitionist lectures. On May 4, 1853, Sarah Parker Remond had bought tickets by post for herself and a group of friends, including historian William C. Nell, to the popular opera Don Pasquale at the Howard Athenaeum, one of the most famous theaters in Boston history, finally closing in 1953 and demolished in 1962. They entered the theater intending to enjoy the popular opera, but when the manager discovered that they were people of color, he directed them to the segregated balcony. Remond and her companions refused to sit there. When they were forced to leave, an argument ensued, and Sarah was pushed down a flight of stairs. The police were summoned, and when they arrived, the officers handled Sarah and her companions roughly. Refusing to be intimidated, she sued and won $500 in damages. The court ordered the manager to admit that she had been wronged, and also ordered the theater to integrate all seating.
While our mother never excused those who unjustly persecuted those whose only crime was a dark complexion, her discipline taught us to gather strength from our own souls, and we felt the full force of the fact that to be black was no crime.
This has been African American History is American History. African American History is American History. Copyright H.C. Kearsley, 2025.